Hello, my friends. How are you today? Hey, listen, my name is Holly Lewis, and I am a life coach for anxious overachievers. And if you're wondering what in the heck is that, then this class probably isn't for you. If you're an overachiever, you probably already know that you are and that you're putting yourself under a lot of pressure in order to achieve because you believe that your achievements make you worthy. And one of the things I'm going to say to you is listen, I've been on that bus for a long time. And finally, I have come to the conclusion with a lot of coaching myself that our worth, we're just worthy, period. And it doesn't have anything to do with your achievements. And I want to help you understand why it is that you think that you don't have work life balance and some things, a process that you can use to do something about that. So let's get started. So basically, we're going to talk about the path to work life balance for overachievers. So, what I want to offer you is that there are three legs to every one of our stools, if you will. There's the mind, there's the body, and there's the spirit. So, the mind has to do with things like your achievements, your work, your ego, all of those kinds of things that are basically going on up in your head, your to-do list, your thoughts, all the things. Then there's your body, which is your physical kind of being, which is like your eating and your exercise, your movement, just how well you're taking care of your body. Then there's the spirit, which is your love, your connectedness with other people, your passion, your connectedness with the universe, with God, however you think about that. And here's the thing. When you are an overachiever, you have the ability to focus very, very well. And it is not one of the things that we actually need to be trained on is how to focus. We know how to do that. We know how to do that really, really well. In fact, we are hyper focused, usually on one area of this triangle. For most of us, it's here. We are focused on work, achievement, ego driven things in our mind, our to do list, time, all of those kinds of things. For some people, it's here, where you're hyper focused on what you're eating, how you're exercising, how you're taking care of your body. Everything is about achievement in that area. And for some people, it is in the spiritual realm as well, is how hyper focused you are on that. But basically, what happens is when you are hyper focused on one of those areas, and I'm just going to assume at this point that it's here because most of it is here, you get unbalanced because you're basically so focused on one leg of the stool that the other two are up in the air. And you basically have no focus on or attention on those areas at all. For me, I was hyper focused here, a little bit of focus here, and absolutely no focus here. And so I got to a place where I really didn't feel good. I was starting to have some health issues because I was not taking care of my body. I was not taking care of myself, the container that I'm in, basically. I wasn't taking care of myself. So this might be you right now, but that's what leads to unbalanced is this, mind, spirit, body not having, a balance of that. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. It is a dance between these three. It is not like 33%, 33%, 33% to get to balance. That's not the way it works. It's basically a dance that how you feel balanced. Okay? It's not what's balanced for me might not be balanced for you, and what's balanced for another person might not be balanced for me. So it is a very individualized thing being balanced, and you need to figure out what it is. So let's talk about what you think causes you not to have balance. So you think probably that your boss, your job, time, your coworkers, all of the things are the reason why you don't have balance. It's just not true. It's definitely not true. Because I have a boss, I have job, I have time, I have coworkers, and I feel like I'm pretty balanced in my life. I couldn't have said that 2 years ago, but I can now. And it actually has nothing to do with your circumstances. It has to do with these things. So here's the reasons why. One, and if you get nothing else out of this class, I want you to understand that if you don't believe that balance is possible, you will never get it. So you're probably thinking right now it's just not possible. And if you continue to think that, you won't get it. So basically, you don't believe it's possible. You haven't defined what it is for you. So this is another common thing when I ask people, what is work-life balance? They don't have an answer. You need to have an answer to that. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. You believe you have no control over work or time. So you don't think that you're in control of your work, of your time, of anything, that you're just a victim of it all. You haven't set personal boundaries around work or your time or any of that kind of stuff. You have no rules, right? Basically, you never say no. You'll do, all the things just to achieve. And then you're not scheduling the rest of your life. You're leaving it up to chance, basically. So that spiritual and that body piece of it, if there's time, that'll happen. That's not the way this works. You have to actually be attentive and pay attention to all three areas of your life all the time and be focused on it. So let's talk about the process that I have come up with in order to get my life into work-life balance, into balance. And first of all, you have to decide to believe it's possible. So I'm not saying 100%. I'm saying maybe 20%. Could you maybe 20% believe that it's possible to have balance in your life? It doesn't have to be like all in total belief, but work with me here. You have to think it's possible. And then I want you to define what your ideal balanced day looks like. And this is like a budget, right? So do a budget for your time. How much time are you going to spend on self-care? How much time are you going to spend at work? How much time are you going to spend with your family? How much time are you going to spend doing something that you're passionate about every day? So only you know the answer to this. Because for me, I spend a lot of time on self-care, and it makes me feel much more balanced, puts more energy into my life, that I can use that energy to do my work in the world and to have a spiritual connection. But for me, it requires a lot of self-care. For other people, it does not. And only you will know what that amount of self-care is that's going to be right for you. Only you're going to know what that amount of spiritual connectedness is for you. For me, I like to get out in nature. I like to dig in the dirt. I like to be connected with nature. I like to be connected with the universe. I like to be connected with my family. And how much time that takes up during my day is very unique to me in terms of how I feel balanced. So for you, I really want you to think about this. And I do have a tool that I can send to you if you would like to have a copy. It's basically a budget planner for work-life balance. If you send me an email to MPO Swarm, SWARM, at gmail.com, I can send you a copy. All right, so we're believing it's possible. We're setting our budget. Then what we want to do is figure out what is 1% daily improvement. So meaning, what can I do tomorrow to improve my balance to get more towards that ideal state tomorrow? I don't want you to say, oh, it's typical for overachievers to say, oh, no, we're completely changing everything. We're going to and go. And then we wonder why we fail. It's because we're biting off way more than we can chew. So I really want you to focus on 1% improvement. And here are some ideas. So boundaries around work. Think about this. Email is work. Can you put some personal boundaries around when you will check email and when you will stop checking email every day? For me personally, I don't check work email until 9 o'clock, and I stop checking it at 5. I never used to do that. It was basically, I would check email from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed. So I was basically working all day long. I put some boundaries around that, and it really freed up some time for me to do self-care and more of the spiritual stuff. Make sure that you're scheduling breaks. So that's another 1% improvement. Could you schedule lunch once a week? And then work your way up so that you're scheduling breaks and lunches consistently every day. Can you define your hours? Can you say, okay, I'm only going to work from 7 until 9, or I'm only going to work until from 9 to 6? Whatever that is for you, whatever's right for you, incrementally improve. Maybe you start out with 10 hours and you start backing it back by 30 minutes every couple weeks until you get to a place where you're more reasonably working 8 hours a day or less. What about meetings? One of the things that caused me so much anxiety at work was having back-to-back meetings. And it basically allowed me no space whatsoever to do action items or to do the things that I said I would do during these meetings unless I was working at night. So I now have a personal rule that I do not do back-to-back meetings unless I can absolutely not help it, because it does make me anxious, and I never really realized that before. How about scheduling the rest of your life? How about scheduling some family time or some fun or your self-care? Schedule a walk-in every day. And it can be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. We're talking incremental little baby steps to get you there. Now, it's going to take some time to get you there for sure, but who cares? You'll still get there. For me, it took me about a year to get to a place where I was more balanced because I was really paying attention to the 3 legs on the stool instead of just hyper focusing on my work. Then what I want you to do is I want you to do a review every day. What went well? What didn't go well? And then what's a 1% improvement for tomorrow? And really just pay attention to the 1%. Don't overachieve on this. Make sure that you are looking at it from an incremental, really easy perspective. What is something that is super easy, super fun, 1% improvement that I can do tomorrow? All right. So you are in control at least 80% of the time. It's absolutely true. Your mind wants to think that you're not in control of your time. It's just not true. You're in control 80% of the time, at least. So let's think about this. 8 hours of work times 80% is 6.4 hours that you are totally in control of your day. It's not an all or nothing thing. Your mind likes all or nothing. So it's going to say you have no control of your time, but you absolutely do. 80%. And that's just something to remember there. All right. If you get nothing else out of this class, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You must believe that balance is possible in order to make it happen. It is unique to you, so you have to define what that means to you in order to get it. If you have this amorphous thing out there that says, oh, this is work-life balance, and you haven't really defined what that is, you'll never get there. So define it, believe that you can get there, and I know you will. I am offering free 30-minute sessions to help you set up your budget to get to a place where you know exactly what work-life balance is. Message me, send me an email at mposwarm@gmail.com, and I'll get you scheduled and we can talk about it. My friends, my overachieving, anxious friends, I am telling you that this is totally possible for you. I'm so excited. I want to wish you a wonderful day, and here's to getting some balance back in your life.